I'm Brigham Larson with Brigham Larson Pianos. This is a 1989 Yamaha G2 piano that has been completely top to bottom, everything from an aesthetic point of view all the way to, or an aesthetic standpoint, all the way to functional, has been completely redone and is in perfect condition, like mint. So let's talk about, I want to talk about Yamaha in general. I'll talk about the cosmetics. I'll talk about the functionality, and I'll play it. Yeah, overall great piano. Okay, so Yamaha goes. I actually grew up on a Yamaha, and is a fantastic brand. I've worked on personally, literally thousands of Yamaha pianos. They have a great reputation, and rightfully so. I've long since recommended. I started working on pianos 25 years ago, and for many years I recommended Yamahas to my tuning and repair rebuilding clients that were looking to upgrade. And actually my very first grand piano that I purchased when I had a house of my own was this model. It was the Yamaha G2. 5'7". That's a great size for a living room. Not too big, but still big enough that it has a very nice projection, nice sustain, and it still has the richness that you're looking for in a larger piano. Not the tone that can sometimes be a little bit lacking in smaller pianos that are 5'2", even 5'4", can still kind of be lacking somewhat. 5'7", you're getting up to a good size at that point. Okay, cosmetically this piano's in perfect condition. It's been completely polished out, professionally done. Again, cosmetically it's like perfect, like it was never used ever. And you could go all over the entire piano, the legs, the pedals, the fall board, the lid, everything is just perfect. And then pedals, same thing, and the casters you can see are all polished up. The brass is looking beautiful. Let's have a look at the action. Start talking about the functional aspects of the piano. Of course, everything has been thoroughly cleaned. Let's get a shot of the strings and the soundboard in there. Pull this forward, and you can see how clean and immaculate everything is. And I'll pull the action out. So what happens over time, as pianos are used, the components wear out, and like the hammers, for example, that's usually the most obvious example. The hammers get flattened, so they come up and strike the strings from below. And what happens is the hammers are supposed to be a nice rounded shape, and after decades of hitting the string, it's felt hitting on steel, so that felt kind of loses the battle, I guess you could say, and it gets flattened. They get cuts in the felt, and so rather than that nice rounded shape that you want, it's more of a flat kind of smack against the string, and that causes kind of a nasally tone, less control, problems with voicing, that sort of thing. And so these hammers, as you can see, are back to that rounded shape there, nicely reshaped. So it's that point that you want. And then all of this stuff in here, that's all referred to, that's the action. This top part is the action stack. And all of these adjustments in here from this screw here, there's a screw there, there's a spring that you can see that, if I kind of, you can see that spring is supposed to be not too strong, not too weak. Other adjustments, there's a couple other screws in there. There's a screw under the key, or on top of the key under the action. This adjustment here. and then a couple others, distances and that sort of thing, all of which together, when everything is functioning correctly, that's referred to as properly regulated. That's regulation. That's a properly regulated piano. And so a piano that's even 5 or 10 years old, you start to see issues with regulation that aren't quite right. By the time a piano is 20 years old, at that point, for sure, it's going to need a complete overhaul of the regulation. And this piano has had all of that. And I'm really just kind of glossing over it. There's a lot more involved as far as tightening and lubrication and bolstering knuckles and that sort of thing. So this, as a general rule, pianos have about 20 to 25 years of excellent, top-notch service, after which they need to be refurbished, like this one was, and then they have another 20 to 25 years of excellent service, and then they just kind of never die. You can just kind of repeat that cycle indefinitely. Great piano, really nice touch. I can really go fast in some of those passages, and it keeps up with me. In fact, I don't think I could. I don't have the technical skill to outpace this piano. This piano can do much more than my skills are capable of maxing out, I guess. And great touch. It has a nice richness and projection, sustain, everything that I look for in a piano. This piano is a complete package, and I think that kind of in sum, that when you take all of those things that I've talked about here together, and you compare it with the very reasonable price that we have, it's kind of a no-brainer in comparison to a brand new piano, which is essentially what this one is. After everything that it had done to it, it's a no-brainer that this piano is a great value, particularly compared to a brand new piano that's going to be way, way, way more expensive than this piano. The address here, come check it out. The address is 1497 South State Street in Orem, or the phone number is 801-701-0113. Thanks for watching.